this room. I remember buying this building from Barbara Orbison. I went to see Roy, and I said, Roy, I want to buy this building. He said, well, there's a studio already back there. I said, yeah, but I want to build it to my specifications. He said, see, Barbara? I did. Came in here, got a designer from California named Rudy Brewer. He built this place, brought all this redwood in from California, built it all right on time.
And people think about Music Row in your days with RCA, those early days, they think about Studio B. So is that where you recorded before you came to what we know as Ronnie's place here, which is Black River Entertainment?
Well, I recorded some in Studio B. Jerry Bradley told me to cut Studio A. That was the best studio in the house, so I did that. He said, now I want an album out on you this fall, so you're going to have to go cut in Studio B because A's not available for the next 3 months. But this building, we got started, we got a console I wasn't too happy about called the Sphere console, manufactured in California.
When you walk into a studio, most people who are sighted have these visual connections to where they are. I am curious, as a blind artist, what is it about a particular room that you feel or hear or see in your mind's eye that attracts you to a place?
Oh, I do. I love this place. All big hits have been cut here. Stranger in My House, aha! It was cut here. Smoky Mountain Rain, and aha! It was cut here in this room.
Is smell a big part of you seeing when you walk into a room like this?
Yeah, it is. Always has been. That's why girls ought to wear their best perfume.
Hey, this fella sitting across from us, Rob Galbraith, your producer. When did two of you run on each other?
Oh, Rob was working at WNOX up in Knoxville. And I heard him on the radio when I was in college over at Young Harris, Georgia. I heard him on every night. I got called to do a show for WNOX. I said, who I want to meet's that Rob Galbraith. So I got to meet him. We've been friends ever since.
Ronnie should have been in radio, Bill. You hear how he says W. He doesn't say W. He doesn't say it like a lot of people. What W? He says W. That's, he's a radio guy himself, man.
Yeah, W.
Yeah.
Rob, was it an instant friendship? And then when did the working relationship begin?
We were playing that Never Had It So Good. It was on Scepter. It's kind of an R&B record.
Yeah.
And so we were playing that, and we met. And from then on, I went down to Atlanta and go visit him and Joyce. And when he was playing the clubs down there, and we got to be friends. And then later on, he went to Memphis, and I used to drive to Memphis and visit him down there. Matter of fact, I took Tom Collins down there with me one time.
Yes, you did. I sat at the piano and played him I Hate You.
And that gave Tom and Ronnie the idea he could go country.
Jerry Bradley wasn't convinced in the early days, was he?
No.
What did he say?
Jack Johnson took a tape to Jerry Bradley, and Jerry Bradley said, I know about Ronnie Milsap. He's a rock and roller. He sings R&B. We take people down to Memphis to go see him. He's not a country artist. Jack played him That Girl Who Waits on Tables and some other songs I demoed. And Jerry Bradley said, well, you know that SOB can sing country.
It is one of my favorite stories that you tell.
He can. Yeah, Ronnie was raised countryer than anybody. I wager countryer than any other artist in the damn business.
Yeah.
Because he grew up about a half mile from a road on a dirt path with no running water, no electricity.
I've seen the pictures.
Man, it was unbelievable.
Raised by your grandparents, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Step-grandfather, not blood kin, step-grandfather.
Boy, and he was a nice man.
Yeah.
What a character, too, to look at him. You see pictures of him. I've seen those.
Oh, he was great.
And Ronnie comes in this building, when he'd be in here, control room, he'd come out and start snapping his fingers. He could tell that sound bouncing off the wall exactly where he's going.
They call it shadow vision.
By the sound bouncing around, he can tell where he's going. But he told me one time, you can imagine this, man, like at 11 o'clock at night, and he's an 11-year-old boy going to go to the restroom. He has to go to that outhouse, and the wind's blowing. He goes outside, and he starts snapping.
clapping
his hands, and he hears the sound bounce off the trees, and he can tell where the outhouse is.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me, man.
You got to do it.
Vince Gill told me once the greatest musical gift that he has is that God gave him ears, really good ears. And that's what we're talking about here, isn't it?
Well,
Ronnie?
he's got them.
And I got to believe that's enhanced for a blind person, even more so than those of us who are sighted, Rob.
He and Ray Charles and Stevie, they're not given to the distraction of vision.
No.
When you're sitting here right now, Bill, and you got, your mind is seeing your eyes are seeing all this stuff, and your brain is recognizing that. You close your eyes, man, and Ronnie's one big ear, and he hears through things. It's pretty amazing.
Ronnie Milsap, Rob Galbraith. I'm Bill Cody, and this is A Better Word for Love, the Ronnie Milsap radio special. We talked about Memphis a minute ago.
Yeah.
First thing on this album that people are going to hear is a thing called Big Bertha. And I see one of the writer's credits goes to a cat named Carl Perkins.
That's right.
Randy Moore, Carl Perkins, DJ Perkins. And I referenced Vince Gill a little bit ago. Vince Gill is your duet partner.
Yeah, Big Bertha came, I think, probably about 20 years ago. So a lot of these songs I hold on and try them out, see if they work for me. And the lady that's helping me with PR said, well, Vince Gill is a great golfer. You ought to get him to do a duet with you on Big Bertha. So we did that.
So you brought the name Big Bertha from golf and the lead character in this song together through Vince Gill.
We got that song from, I think, a member of Carl Perkins' family from down in Jackson. They said that was the last song Carl ever wrote. Somebody stole his Big Bertha.
Yeah.
He actually had one playing golf, and he was so distraught, and he wrote that song about it. And you'd never know, the first part of the song, you don't know it's a golf club, but that's where we got that thing.
And you started out doing that Memphis Blues, Beale Street
yeah.
thing. And then you kick it into high gear. Was that the way it was written?
That's something we did once we got in the studio. Seemed like Norro Wilson was in there and suggested that. I said, hey, we can do that, and we did it.
Narrow.
Boy, what a cool guy.
Narrow. And he was so proud of his Lester Flatt imitation. Did he ever do that for you, Ronnie?
No, but he did it. Eddie Arnold.
Oh,
Ronnie couldn't tell the difference
between Norro and Eddie Arnold.
And Eddie Arnold actually came up to Ronnie one time, and Joyce or somebody had to tell him, Ronnie, this really is Eddie.
I thought it was Norro acting a fool again.
Ronnie Milsap, Rob Galbraith. I'm Bill Cody, and this is A Better Word for Love, the Ronnie Milsap radio special.
Well, I'm sitting here wondering, where's my long, tall baby now? Yeah, I'm sitting here wondering, where's my long, tall baby now? 'Cause somebody came and stole her, left me on the bottom side of down. I used to take her out on Saturdays, and swinging we would go. Yeah, I'd take her out on Saturdays, and swinging we would go. I would do most anything just to swing that gal once more.
All right, here we go.
She always felt like a dream right here in my hands. Any cat who's played around with her understands. Well, I'm bluer than a hound dog, barking up a tree, crying, please, 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 Big Bertha, come on home to me. Well, I hope I never find him, the one that took my gal away. Yeah, I hope I never find him, the dude that took my cow away. 'Cause if I do, I'm telling you, he'll have the devil to pay. She always felt like a dream right here in my hands. Any cat who's played around with her understands. understand. Well, I'm bluer than a hound dog, barking up a tree, crying, please, 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 Big Bertha, come on home to me. Come on home to me. Whoa, come on home, baby. Golf club, Lord, she always sets me free.
Let me say it again.
Yeah, I said I know she's just a golf club, but she always set me free.
Let's wind it up.
So if you see my Big Bertha, tell that gal to hit a few for me. Yeah. Woo.
Thank you, Hall of Famer.
Right back at it.
Tell me about background vocals throughout this album. We hear voices. We know Vince did the duet on Big Bertha.
Yeah, he did. And the crazy thing, we did it in our own home studios. I did my part in my home studio. He's got a home studio at his house with Pro Tools, so he did his part there, put it together. It's a hit.
Did you and Vince at some point listen to the playback together?
No. I know the lady that's working to help me by the name of Holly Gleason said, Vince Gill loves golf. Why don't you do a duet with him? Well, I said, well, let me talk to Vince and find out if he would. So, Rob, I think you talked to him.
I called him and said, what you been doing, Vince? He said, oh, nothing, just eating and playing golf. It's cool to listen to that Ronnie and Vince because you hear the blues and you hear bluegrass. You know, and I really never noticed Vince being that bluegrass before, man, but it's wonderful.
Well, that's where he started.
That's where he's real good, too.
We just recently lost Jim Weatherly unexpectedly.
I hate that.
Yeah, he and Nigel Wright wrote a song called Wild Honey on this
Boy,
album.
it's a good one. The last thing I cut in this room.
What do you remember about it, Rob?
We cut it a long time ago and then recut it, but went back to the original, and all we had was an MP3. And we couldn't find the writers. And we almost weren't able to get that song on the album because we didn't know who the writers were. We put the word out around town. Finally, it came up that it was Jim, you know, and so thank God we got to get that on there. It's a groove, man. I've had people in the business have heard that, said, man, I don't know who wrote it, but I'm still dancing.
And Ronnie, he was such an incredible ballad writer and singer. Oh. This is not the kind of groove that you use that term that you think of when you think of a Jim Weatherly.
Willis come to town and play on this song, Rob.
Yeah, John from Muscle Shoals played that guitar thing on it, kind of that talking voice box guitar you'll hear in the solo. You think of Weatherly, you think of, what is it, Midnight Train to Georgia?
Oh, yeah.
We're thankful this made it, man. It's a wonderful record.
John Willis played electric guitar. Jamie Brantley played acoustic guitar. Lonnie Wilson was on the drums.
Yeah.
So how long has this album been in the making?
Seems like we're always cutting songs. We're always looking for brand new songs.
Some of these things were cut a while back, and then we cut some new things to go along with them. But, you know, I always try to keep Ronnie in the studio when he's between labels or something. Take advantage of him being in good throat.
What do you do to keep your voice in shape? Or do you? Some people say, you know, I don't do anything. I was just, God gave me this gift.
That's right. Don't mess with it.
Tosses in the breeze. She'll tell you she's a shameless flirt, 'cause she just loves to tease. Men just swarm around her like bees buzzing round the hive. But when she wants some sugar, you know I'm a sugar pie. She's mine. Wild about me. Whenever she's around, I feel just like a kid in a candy store. I can't stop with just one kiss. I gotta have more and more.
title track of the album is called A Better Word for Love. Ronnie Milsap, Bill Cody, and the producers here. Rob Galbraith has joined us. Alan Anderson and Gary Nicholson. When you say the name Gary Nicholson, you know you're going to get something special.
That's right. This song's been around town a while. A lot of people tried it. I think we actually got the definitive cut on A Better Word for Love.
We were doing a different album years ago when I found this song, and I had like 14 songs I was going to play for Ronnie. I went over to his house, and I told him, I said, Ronnie, if you don't like this first song, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I played him that one, and he loved it. We'd play that song for people, and we decided that we couldn't be friends with them if they didn't like that song. We loved that thing a lot, man.
Boy.
It was a Criteria song.
And we found a steel player I couldn't believe named Mike Johnson. And when he played the solo on that song, I thought, well, this guy's got it. I remember asking Jerry Bradley one time. I said, Jerry, I've run out of steel players. I mean, I can't find the one that really knocks me out anymore. I've worked with every guy here in town. He said, well, Daddy likes Hal Rugg. I said, that's good enough for me.
Daddy likes Hal Rugg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that? They're both in the Country Music Hall of Fame now.
Here's another morning. Soon she'll be waking up. I watch her and wonder if there's a better word for love. So many times I've told her it never seems enough. So I'll keep searching for a better word for love. Mumbling, stumbling, wondering when I find no way. I know she knows there's nothing more to say. Tonight when I'm out walking, I'll ask the stars above if out there somewhere there's a better word for love. Wondering when I find no way. I know she knows there's nothing more to say. So here's another morning. Soon she'll be waking up. I guess I'll just hold her tight till there's a better word for love. I guess I'll just hold her tight till there's a better word for love.
There's a song called Almost Mine on his album, and the writers on this one are two names that are synonymous with writing in this town, Randy Goodrum and David Ball. Tell me what you hear when you listen back to this song, why you chose it.
Randy Goodrum, for piano, he had used a sample from Steinway. First thing I did, I said, I want to replace that with a Yamaha piano. So I did that, and I didn't like it as well. I went back to the Steinway, the way that Randy had written it.
Randy's a really good keyboard player.
Oh, God.
I mean, he's serious. He said channeling Pig Robbins when he played the part. He was playing it as he thought Pig would play it. But when we heard it, so we hired Pig. And we had Pig playing Pig channeling Randy, who was channeling Pig.
Yeah.
And then finally we went back to just Randy's part. But it was funny. We had like channeling going for days in there, man.
And this is all going through, ultimately, the final source, the conduit here, is Ronnie Milsap.
Yeah. It's funny, man.
But I love that song. I remember finding that song. My wife had gone down to Georgia for the weekend. I was just in the middle of listening to songs, and I heard that. I thought, good grief, I want to cut that.
Almost Mine, Ronnie Milsap, as a part of A Better Word for Love, Ronnie Milsap radio special. I'm Bill Cody.
I want you to want me. Don't be afraid, let your heart fall, 'cause I'm falling too. I'd love you to love me. Some people search their whole life through to find someone like you. Almost so close I can almost taste it. For so long I've watched and waited through the long, lonely nights, and almost my wait is almost over, 'cause I've got a brand new feeling inside that you're almost mine. I need you to need me. Whenever your life gets you down and you need me around forever and after, between the years and tears and smiles, the flame won't die. Almost so close I can almost taste it. For so long I've watched and waited through the long, lonely nights, and almost my wait is almost over, 'cause I've got a brand new feeling inside that you're almost mine. Yeah, you're almost mine.
This is A Better Word for Love radio special featuring Ronnie Milsap. I'm Bill Cody. There's more coming up next.
I'm a prisoner of the highway.
You talked about Atlanta, we talked about Memphis, but where did you play in Nashville?
I got the job at the King of the Road Hotel. This guy saw me in a club, and he said, "You're exactly what I'm looking for." He said, "How much do I pay you?" And I told him. He upped it,
So how much were you making? Do you recall?
$1,200 a week.
For the whole band?
Yeah. He said, "I'll raise you to $1,700 a week." And all my band members said, I'm not going to Nashville unless you pay me some more. I said, I got it.
How long did you play there, Ronnie?
3 years.
And then what happened?
I got called to join the Charlie Pride show. So I went out to the airport and got on Charlie's Fairchild F-27 airplane. I remember going and played with him up in Roanoke, Virginia, was my first date. And to sit and listen and observe what Charlie Pride did to an audience, man, it was great. Just magical what Charlie Pride could do to an audience.
He was on RCA. You have not signed with him at that point, correct?
Not yet. It was all up to Jerry Bradley. And Jerry Bradley didn't think I was country enough, but I proved I was.
Now you can both go down to the Country Music Hall of Fame and polish your plaques, can't you?
Hey!
Ronnie Milsap, there's a song on here Thomas Kane wrote called Fool. How did you find this and decide to record it?
Thomas Kane, what a songwriter. I think he has the God-given ability to sit down at a keyboard and write something right on the spot. He said, I got a Christmas song for you. I said, yeah. He said, the snow is on the ground, the family's all in town, it's Christmas. I said, yeah, the children want to know why we hung the mistletoe, it's Christmas. I said, Thomas, put that down on something so I could learn it. And I cut it for RCA.
It's still a standard at Christmas, decades later.
Fool, we had a demo of Thomas just playing the piano. But that vocal with Ronnie, he was in there with the musicians all live. They're all playing. And that cut is the vocal that Ronnie sang right then.
That's so funny because Sinatra would always say, okay, I'm going to sing 3 takes for you. And that's all he would give.
Fool, I must be a fool to let you treat me the way that you do. Yeah, baby, I am a fool for you. When you stay out all night and you don't even call, makes me wonder if you love me at all. Still, baby, I am a fool for you. There was a time when we were inseparable, but lately we've been drifting apart. Maybe I should give up and just let you go. If only I could convince my foolish heart. Fool, they say I'm a fool, and I should find me somebody new. Well, if they were me, they would be a fool too. Oh, yes, they would. 'Cause baby, I am a fool for you. Woo!
There's a song on here that when I heard it, I thought, goodness, you could have written this song from personal experience and particularly events in your life. And recent months and years, but Brent Mayer, Mike Reed, and Alan Shamblin.
Yeah.
This Side of Heaven.
Great record.
Tell me what that song means to you, Ronnie.
Well, all that goes down while we're living our lives, you know, there are going to be some people in this life that you just really gravitate to, some people that you just love to be with. If you find somebody like that, you're probably going to marry them. I know I did.
How long you enjoy spending together?
55 years. We met at a dinner party just outside Atlanta. I got to meet her, and she said, "Do you have Sweet and Sour Tears by Ray Charles?" I said, "No, I don't have that." She said, "Do you want to hear it?" She had that album. I said, "Hey, I want to know you."
In your liner notes for A Better Word for Love, you write, "Thanks to my wonderful wife, Joycey," that's how we all know her and love her. "She is my daily inspiration. She is the light of my life." So that's the very person that is described in this song, even though you didn't write it.
I had a song up one time called "Only One Love in My Life."
Oh, yeah.
The writer wrote that because he saw Joycey, me, when I accepted the Entertainer of the Year in 1977.
How many number ones have you had in your career?
40 at RCA, which is in a 21 CD set.
How many ACMs? How many CMAs? How many Grammys?
Got 7 Grammys, need some more.
Maybe this album will be responsible.
Maybe. I know Mike Wilson here. He's a great promotional guy. He worked over there for Joe Galante. Now he's working here at Black River.
One day I held the world in my hand, thinking I was on rock solid ground, till I woke one day and found my world was tumbling down. Without a prayer on my knees, I found someone to stand by me on this side of heaven. Tears sometimes fall, and hearts can be broken into pieces so small. But on this side of heaven, dreams come true. Dreams can come true. Now I know what love can on this side of heaven, I found you. If I could have one wish tonight and the power to make it come true, I would grant every wounded heart a love as sweet as you. Someone to hold, someone to care, someone you know is always there on this side of heaven. Tears may fall, tears sometimes fall, and hearts can be broken into pieces so small. But on this side of heaven, dreams can come true. Now I know what love can be. On this side of heaven, I found you. Whoa, on this side of heaven, dreams come true. Dreams can come true. Now I know what love can be. On this side of heaven, found you, yes, on the side of heaven. I found you.
It's the Ronnie Milsap, A Better Word for Love radio special. I'm Bill Cody. There's a live cut called Civil War, and it is such a great play on words here. Cindy Richardson, Carol Chase, the writers.
Boy, they're good.
And they have taken the epic Civil War of these United States, North and South, blue and gray, and turned it into this story of love that once was and the breakup that ensued.
I'm on the north side. You're on the south side. The south side bedroom's yours.
It's sister against brother, friend against lover.
Tonight Atlanta's burning. Precious memories are going up in flames.
When was the first time you remember hearing that and thinking, man, I need to cut that song?
See, I find these songs, and 20 years later, I find out that they work.
You mentioned Thomas Caine earlier, Ronnie. Thomas Caine and Tim Nichols wrote a song called Now. Yeah, you've already done Any Day Now. Now you just got
Now.
Now.
Well, I cut all those records right in the studio.
But this song, to me, again, sounds like if you said Ronnie Milsap wrote this song because of the way you deliver it, it's right there in that sweet spot for me as a Ronnie Milsap fan of the great hits that you've done. Those 40 number ones we've talked about.
I tried recording that in this studio here, and it did not come off, Rob. You remember that?
Yeah, well, we were trying to force it somewhere where it did not want to go.
Once you booked Steve Gibson to play guitar on the session came together.
Yeah, we let it go where it wanted to go instead of saying, well, we're going to take it right down this lane.
Yeah, when you book Steve Gibson, you got a guy who was good enough at one time. Of course, he left by choice, but because he had so many other things going on. But he was the musical director of the Grand Ole Opry.
Boy, he's a great player. He's really a good player. Played on a lot of things for me. He played on Daydreams About Night Things.
I'd like to think it's just a dream, and you're not as gone as it seems. But old empty closets, they just don't lie. I never saw a single sign. I thought our love was doing fine. Then everything changed. God only knows why. And I'm on my own. I'm all alone now. I can't live without your love, 'cause I don't know how. I'm out in the cold, my future's on hold, and the past I can't talk about. All I know is I'm on my own now. You didn't even say goodbye, but there was a time you'd almost died. If we had to spend one night apart, somewhere between here and there, we just let go of the love we shared. If I had known then, I could have saved my heart. But I'm on my own, I'm all alone now.
Ronnie, as bittersweet as this is, I have to ask, because you dedicate this album to your late son, Todd. Anything you'd like to say about Todd?
Oh, my God, what a shock. My son Todd lived his life on his terms, and I wish I could have protected him more. But when he wanted to go to public school and get out of Franklin Road Academy, I said, okay, son. Anything he wanted, I got it for him. He wanted a truck, so I got him the good one with the big tires and all that. And he wrecked into Rodney Crowell.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I said, Rodney, have you heard anything? Rodney Crowell's a great guy. He said, no, everything's cool, man. Lived it the way he wanted, you know, but Bill, I don't know. I don't think any of us know as parents how to bring up our children. I don't think we really know.
You just do the best you can, then it's in God's hands.
That's
Turn them loose.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, he's in God's hands now. How old was he when he passed away?
50.
Wow. Well, I knew him for a good portion of those years. And this album is dedicated to the memory of Todd Milsap.
It certainly is. My boy.
Rob Galbraith with Ronnie Milsap. Rob produced this album, A Better Word for Love. Ronnie, and I'll let each one of you answer this. What is it that an artist and a producer have to be successful?
Kenny Rogers told me, don't try to produce yourself. I asked Ray Stevens the same thing. I said, well, I like producing myself. And Ray said, yeah, you do, because you know nobody's going to mess it up. I said, that's right, Ray Stevens. Took a lot of tips from him. He's a very smart man, very clever.
Rob, from your standpoint, what is a producer, what has to happen in that relationship for him to be able to take criticism, constructive or otherwise, and him to say, no, we're going to do it this way this time, but keep it coming, keep sharing information.
I think it's important you have a creative atmosphere, so that you let ideas go, and you know that the guy you're working with is not going to say, well, that's a horrible idea. What are you? You're an idiot. You know, something, have a creative atmosphere. And
Rob will tell me if the song works.
I almost know before I play him a song whether or not he's going to like it. We've done it so many times.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, you know, we've got the same influences. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. Sometimes college used to be our country conscience, so to speak.
Yeah.
Ronnie and I were both, could be more R&B oriented, blues oriented if we didn't watch it. We've had that rapport a long time. I'm not afraid to tell him when I think something needs to be changed, and he's not afraid to say, well, I think you're wrong with that, and I want to keep it like this. And he's got the final say-so. He's the artist. An artist should know a singer whether or not they think they've got it, you know, because it's a different thing producing and singing. Every producer ought to be required to go in and sing sometimes and see what the artist goes through. Seriously.
So when the two of you work together, are you in the room at any point in time, or are you always on the other side of the glass in the booth?
He's on both sides of the glass.
Lately, I've been in the studio with Ronnie, but lots of times I'd be in there.
Is that unusual for a producer to actually come out in the room?
Not all the time. No, I just, you know, I got that from Dennis Lindy one time. Dennis, great writer, and
what was it he wrote for Elvis? He wrote a huge Elvis
Burning
song.
Love.
Okay, yeah.
And Goodbye Earl, they call him Baton Rouge, something like that. He wrote a
Good
Songwriters Hall of Fame. I know that.
Yeah, he's a wonderful. But when we were in a band together, he would never use a talk back. He would always leave and come in the room and talk to someone. He's the first one I ever saw do that. He just, you know, and I got thinking about that, and I feel a lot that way too a lot. If I can keep from it, I don't use the talk back much, especially when you do it with the artist. It might be something to talk with among the musicians, but the artists, I always like to talk to them directly.
Ronnie, you work fast?
Yeah. I've been friends with Rob so long, he and I kind of think along the same place.
Yeah.
Any idea how many songs you generally listen to before you narrow it down to 10?
That's when Rob and I bring out the blueberry vodka. Listening to songs.
Or Baileys. We listen to some of those fine stuff. We got to have some Baileys with this coffee. My goodness.
And it turned out better. It makes it all sound better.